Welcome to TrailManners, the podcast so dedicated to mountain trails and running that they broadcast out of a 78 Volkswagen bus in the mountains. Who does that? Aric and Joel are your hosts and will bring you the trail life as you may have not heard it before. You hear about everything from gear reviews, nutrition to keep you upright and moving forward, and they'll even bring guests into the bus for conversations that you won't hear anywhere else. It's time for some running adventures on a higher elevation. The old 78 Volkswagen bus is fired up and headed to the mountains. Here are your hosts for TrailManners, proudly representing the 801 with their passion and love for the trails, Aric Manning and Joel Hatch.
Welcome to the TrailManners podcast, episode number 62. Today, we are at the Palmer Divide Run Company in Palmer Lake, Colorado, talking with Chad and Jeremy. So if this is your first time listening, then thanks for coming. The TrailManners podcast is produced every week for your enjoyment, and show notes are found at trailmanners.com. Come back often, and please feel free to add the podcast to your favorite RSS feed or iTunes. You can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at TrailManners. All links are in the show notes. Now let's get after it. All right, welcome to the Opt-Out Black Friday podcast here, TrailManners. We're out of Utah for a change, which is nice. We are in Palmer Lake, Colorado, with the world-renowned, ultra-famous Palmer Divide Run Company.
Yeah. PD Run Co. World Headquarters.
This is it.
This is the world headquarters.
This is the mothership, pretty much.
This is it.
I had to call out sick of work to get here, actually. Today.
Last stop before heaven.
That's right. I like that. So we got Chad. Chad's with us on the mic. We got Jeremy, and then we have a watcher in the woods
Mama
that I
Bear.
can't see through.
Mama Bear over there.
Jesse. So, guys, thanks for having me here. I mean, I'm here for Thanksgiving. Joel's obviously not here, but we're sending him photos to make him jealous.
Yes, we are, which is messed up. Joel,
Yeah.
you need to be here.
Sorry, Joel, you're missing out, for sure.
So we're all loaded up. We've got the Jim Beam Devil's Cut 90 proof bourbon because Chad is from Kentucky, and bourbon is the birthright
It's true.
in the
Yeah.
baby bottles of sippy cups in Kentucky,
It's
right?
not true. Not a lie. True story.
Yeah, true story. All right, guys. So here we are. We're in the shop. We've been threatening to come out here many times, and we made it happen. So tell us a little bit. Let's just start with the shop right now. So let's tell us a little bit about the shop.
Yeah, so we're here in Palmer Lake, which is what we consider Colorado's best-kept secret. We are located at about 7,400 feet elevation here in the shop, and at the end of the street, we top out at 9,000, which is in Pike National Forest. We are 25 minutes north of Colorado Springs and about 40 minutes south of Denver.
About an hour and 20 minutes from Boulder.
Yeah,
Yeah.
This is where Jeremy came from, which is the promised land, apparently.
Yeah.
But,
So we hear.
Yeah.
So we hear, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Until you run here, and then
Exactly.
that's a different
That's
story.
why I'm here, actually.
Is it? So you came down from Boulder?
Yep.
Yeah?
Mhm. Yeah. I
To-
make the trip pretty regularly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's my second home.
So you
For
live
sure.
in Boulder?
I do.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right. So
Yep.
you just come down here to hang out.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah, and everybody thinks that Boulder, Colorado, is the trail running mecca.
Yeah.
But it's actually not true. It is Palmer Lake,
It is true.
Well,
but we let people believe that it's Boulder.
Oh, why not? Keeps your trails a little
Yeah.
less crowded.
Yeah,
True.
Right?
We don't
That's true.
always tell people where we run, but when we do, it's usually a lie. When
Yeah.
people write to us or hit us up and like, where should we come running? We always say, you should go to Boulder. Go run the Flatirons.
Have you heard of those?
Exactly. Yeah.
Don't come to Palmer Lake. There's no trails here.
It's true.
And you guys have a slogan out on your front there, loyal to the land.
Mhm.
And so talk about that a little bit. Because just like every show, me and Joel or what I do, we talk before the show and we miss so much good information. So I'm going to reiterate and have you copy that again. So loyal
Yeah.
to the land. What's that about?
Yeah, so we thought it was a catchy slogan to put on the window. Thought it looked cool, but I guess you could say it's our business model in a way, or it's kind of our mantra. It's how we do things here, which is we think maybe is a little different from most shops where, most stores you walk in and they just have it all. They have every shoe you could ever want, and they have all the apparel and all of these things, and whatever you want, it's all there, and they all look the same. And so the way that we kind of model things is loyal to the land. We just cater to our land here, which happens to be, our little town of 4,000 people. We really don't have runnable roads. With everybody here runs trail because they're at the end of the street. There's miles upon miles of single track. millions of acres of Pike National Forest, and so that's kind of how we operate. So when you come into us, it's a trail-only shop because we don't have roads, and we don't carry every trail shoe on the market. We only carry what works best for us, which means, in the summer, our trails are really dry. They can be, and they're really loose rock, so we have shoes that fit that mold. And then in the winter, we get a ton of snow. It's not uncommon to have a foot, 2 feet, 3 feet of snow dumped overnight, and you start your trail run by going up in your snowshoes, packing basically a ditch that then you get to go back down and then run back up it. So that's kind of the way we do it here. Is the loyal to the land is just we do what works for us, not works for everywhere else. So when you come in and you want to get a pair of trail running shorts, we carry one brand. We carry the best on the market, which right now is the Patagonia Strider Pro in our opinion. We used to carry the North Face Better Than Naked. We ran in it forever. Now we do the Strider Pro because we feel like it's the best, and in our opinion, there's no reason to carry everything else.
Yeah. Well, me and Joel wear that actually.
Yeah.
So it's got to be the best.
Yeah. So we think of it as like a greatest hits shop, but also it's more just for our people here because, we do get a lot of people who come from out of town that find us through Instagram, or they live in Denver, live in the Springs. But we don't have a ton of stuff, but most everything we have is also made in Colorado. That's huge for us, which is really easy because, we got Ultimate Direction and Honey Stinger and Tailwind,
everything,
shut up,
fuel
Tailwind,
and all kinds of stuff here for sure.
So
like you mentioned before, I mean, Colorado is not just Boulder, but Colorado in general is just such a mecca, not just for runners, but races and companies and the overall Colorado feel. I mean, everything you see Colorado, there's mountains, there's all that type of thing. So
and it's just as much about that as it is about the vibe. It's about connecting to the community and a culture of trail runners really at every ability, but particularly more so in the ultra scene, obviously, where we sort of think that's where our strengths are. Key focus on think for sure.
Yeah.
But but ultimately, it is also about a loyalty to the community as well. And I think because what we do is connected to the landscape and how important that is to our culture of what we do as a passion.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Well, and I think that's across the board and that's like the podcast in general. People talk to us all the time about our guests and who we have on. It's like, it's easy. You got it's the same culture and vibe. So it's not like you're jumping way over here to the right or way over here to the left. It's kind of right down that
exactly,
center line a little bit because of that vibe.
Yeah, and it makes it great for us because the people who walk in the door, they know what we do, and that means that we know what type of person is coming in the door, and it's cool. You get to talk about our lifestyle all day long, and we don't get a lot of people who come in the door just looking for shoes, and they don't know what they want. We get a lot of people who come in who they say, how many of the Pearl Izumi N2s can you order me before they're all gone? We get everything's so specific.
That's my next question.
Yeah,
exactly.
which is great for us because it's like we get to talk about the shit. Can you cuss on here?
Yeah, you just did, so we're good.
You get to talk about the shit that we do all day, what we're into to people who are like-minded. I mean,
even your DHL driver, right? You were telling me about that.
Oh, yeah, Mark. Shout out to Mark at DHL. Mark is our local DHL driver, which, I'll be honest, I didn't know DHL was still in business. But he has a route in our area who is an ultra runner and takes his lunch breaks here and often eats like Cliff Bars for lunch and has like a Tailwind cocktail.
Well, maybe they're not in business. Maybe that's just how he hangs out with you guys.
Yeah.
That's his front.
Maybe.
So as soon as he pulls around the corner, he busts out like, some other truck or
no kidding.
sticker or whatever.
Creepy ice cream man.
Yeah.
Gotta wait till we hit the suburbs for the ice cream truck.
Exactly.
So how did you guys, where did this come from? Because like you said, Palmer Lake is not like, I don't mean this in a bad way. It's not like a destination where people think of, right? And you're from Kentucky. Mm-hmm. How did you end up here and where did this idea or thought, because we've talked briefly through social media somehow early on when I first came across you guys, I'm like, a trail run only, how does that work?
Yeah.
Because that's different, right? And which I think is way cool. But how did you end up here? Where did the idea come from? How did it kick off?
So my wife and I both are from Kentucky, and she had lived in Colorado a few years ago before we met. And she lived in the Springs, and then she moved home. And she's a science teacher, high school science teacher. She moved into my hometown. And that's how we met and started dating. And then, so she had ties to Colorado, and I was big into trail or ultra running. We don't have a lot of trails there. So for every vacation, we would do runcations. We would come and crash at somebody's house in Boulder, and just happened to be the same weekend that the 24-hour of Boulders was going on, you know. So we would do a lot of stuff like that. And so we lived on my family's farm in Kentucky in a little 400-square-foot cabin. And we didn't own a ton of things. And one day we were like, you know what, we should move to Colorado. And a week later, we sold my carbon road bike and paid for the U-Haul, and we headed this way. And our realtor just happened to live in the next town over, and she brought us into Palmer Lake for brunch one Saturday morning after looking at houses, and we were like, this is Kentucky with mountains. Like, this is it. We want to live here.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So then we just moved into town, and we've been here since, and that's only been about 3.5 years. And this specific location actually used to be a multi-sport shop. They did full-on triathlon stuff.
Wow.
Which is why if you notice, I told you the sign above the building for Cornerstone Multisport's still here. And people always say, well, you guys have been in business for a while now. When are you going to change the sign? And it's actually because it's spelled wrong. Like, it says Multioport, and we just can't take it down.
Yeah.
It's just
That's too classic.
It's just, I mean, it's, you know,
we're paying respects to our forefathers.
There you go.
The people that laid the brick and foundation.
Exactly.
For it.
Yeah.
I like how you said that. This is Kentucky with mountains, though. That's that's awesome.
Yeah, it's Mayberry with mountains. I mean, that's what we always tell people, and it's cool. You know, it's like we don't have mailboxes, so you have to go to the post office to check your P.O. box, and which is a pain in the ass for getting mail here because like we technically don't have a shipping address. So we have to get all these things sent to the house or shipped to the P.O. box. It's really weird. But
you start shipping them to random people's house. I have no idea. They'd be like, what the hell?
Well, it's such a small town now. When the shipment comes in, I'll get a text from my neighbor, and he's like, "Hey, we see that you've got a couple packages on the porch. You mind if I go check out what it is?"
Early shopping.
Yeah, early shopping.
Are these 10.5s? These are dope.
This is from Armor. 3 boxes from Amber Sports. Let me crack this.
You're gonna bust that open. So how did your since you don't have, you say, trails in Kentucky, where did your background in the ultra side or did that come through?
Oh man, it's kind of started late. I raced road bikes in college at Kentucky, and then I was really slow compared to everybody else.
You're pretty okay.
I'm most okayest person on that team, probably. And after college, I got into the Ironman thing a little bit. I always tell people when they come in and they see like the Ironman stuff, they're like, "Oh, did you get into the Ironman circuit?" I'm like, "Oh yeah," but the truth is, like, I think I've always had the ultra marathon mentality because I was like, I'm going to do a triathlon, and Ironman Louisville is an hour away, and I'm going to sign up for it. So I dropped like $700, like fresh out of college, and sold my road bike and got a triathlon bike, and tried to train to the best I knew how. I mean, I had the bike part down, but I didn't have much else down. So that's kind of when I learned how to run and definitely learned how to swim. And did my first triathlon, which was Ironman Louisville, which people think is crazy outside of our little world. But you tell most people in the ultra world, like, "Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
What was your bike split?" It's like it's not a huge deal. So I think have always had this all day long, really slow mentality.
Just
I didn't realize that was your first race. We had the same exact approach.
Yeah,
I hadn't done a single triathlon before I signed up for my Ironman.
Wow.
So in 2009, I did Ironman Arizona with the same approach, like a runner, just a roadie. Like,
I don't know
this
ride a
looks like
bike.
something.
I don't know how to swim.
Yeah, I can swim.
It's just
this is a
Ironman.
really terrible idea. Yeah, but yeah, the same. That's really funny. It's cool.
But you really would you be willing to say that you just got into it so you could shave your legs?
To be truthful, no. I mean,
I'm glad that was the answer.
That's where I got my namesake. Was just the opposite of not shaving anything. Right.
Well,
that was my sort of stick it to the man move. So.
Because see, as most times on the show, we've had this pleasure is like looking at Jeremy. He's got the good looking beard going.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I've never hit that phase ever in my life. I just can't do it.
Salt and pepper look.
It's even frozen in time right there.
That's super hot. We're gonna have to get a photo of that in the shorts. I'm assuming you wear those shorts quite often.
I do. In fact, I have them on right now.
Sweet. All right.
With the shaved legs. Performance khakis.
With the shaved legs. So Jeremy, is that how you got it? You were an ultra runner that went triathlon, or how did you get into
I came from a road running background first, for sure. I lived in Arizona, so I ran cross country track and then ran collegiately for a year and then just kind of did like road races, half marathon, marathon. But I came from sort of definitely a speed road kind of background, and then started getting into trail because I lived real close to South Mountain, which is a municipal park in South Phoenix.
Okay.
Trail network there is really extensive. It's one of my favorite places to still go back and run. But I started since I was about a mile from my back door at the time. That was just access was fantastic. So I started just doing more trail, and then when I moved out to Colorado, it was just a natural transition. I mean, it just made sense, and very humbling experience to come from being a pretty okay runner back in Arizona to a pretty not so okay runner out in Colorado.
I know that. Like a lot of people come to the shop, and we've got some trophies and a bunch of medals in the corner. People always come in, they're like, wow, are those trophies yours? And I'm always like,
my trophy.
But that's
wall
from
is,
Kentucky. That doesn't count.
My wall is stacked with Arizona stuff. Stacked.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, there's my 3 things from here now.
Yeah. It's like participation awards from Colorado races.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's definitely.
So what brought you to Colorado then?
I moved out originally just chase a transition from an REI store to another REI store. So I moved out to Boulder. And also, honestly, I moved out chasing a girl too, so that just didn't work out. But mountains and beer and people and
stuck around, found your spot.
Yeah, it's just been great. So I've been in Boulder now it's almost been 4 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how did you two hook up? Because you were in Boulder.
Yep.
You came from Kentucky to Palm. How did this happen?
I think it was it Match.com, I think?
I think it was gluten-free singles.
Tinder?
Gluten-free singles.
Glutenfreesingles.com.
You better market
No,
that.
I know. No kidding. No, I think it's
Oh, it was eHarmony.
It was eHarmony. Yeah. No, it was through mostly, I would say through social media.
Yeah.
Probably, but I think we sort of have, and I think a little bit through Mountain Hobo.
Yep.
Who is, I don't know if you're familiar with them. They're kind of an endurance collective out of California, and a group of guys that's kind of another part of our family, but also sort of separate. They're kind of just more of an endurance racing collective.
Okay.
A group of guys who they're called Mountain Hobo out of California, and they started a Rocky Mountain Hobo division, which is the people that are like-minded like us to get together. And Jeremy and myself and a couple other people were kind of contacted to maybe head it up and kind of put things together. Yeah. And that's kind of how we, I think, became familiar with each other. And then
the power of social media, for sure. I mean, a collective mindset, for sure.
Through Instagram and stuff like that. But the as big as Colorado, as I'm sure you figured out through your journeys in podcasts, it's a big world, but it's such a small little tight knit family.
Yeah.
I mean, you go anywhere and you know all these people, or you recognize them through social media, or a lot of these bigger races, the whole high profile races, we see the same people every single time. And as you know, with the ultra community, it doesn't matter if you're first or last or in the middle. Like, you're friends with everybody. You all start together,
but we're kind of the Bill Duper of communities, though.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're everywhere.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that a lot.
PD Runco World Headquarters.
Exactly.
That's right. Yeah. I can't believe I'm in the mothership. This is a big deal for me. I mean, you guys may not think so, but I'm out of my comfort zone.
It's a big deal for us.
Stretch out. You can almost touch all the walls.
Yeah. So, I mean, the store, would you say it's 400 square feet?
I think it's a little over 400 square feet. And there used to be a wall right there that the Multi-Port shop had. And this was all bike service back here. They had a full service bike mechanic and tools and grease and all that kind of stuff. So that's why this side isn't as high class as the fancy front end. Yeah. But it's definitely a 435 square foot experience. But it's plenty big for us because, like, I told you when you came in, we're fairly seasonal, which is different from most of the stores around us. In Denver in the springs, you can go in 7 days a week and you can buy whatever you want. But we're 1,000 feet higher than those stores, and we get a few more feet of snow, and we have a major access to Pike National Forest, so we rely very heavily on that. And so it's ever changing. It's when you come in the summer, you see. Not that you don't see seasonal apparel and things in the other stores, but here it's very specific to us. We'll have snowshoes here and maybe some ski stuff, and in the summer we even have stand-up paddleboard rentals because not only are we the local run shop, we're also kind of the local gear shop, I guess you could say. Yeah. And that's sort of how we kind of came up with the idea is that the multi-port store. I like how that just comes out.
It does now.
Now
Now it's going to be
It's
the real thing.
Like before the when they moved out and the space became available, part of the reason that this all happened is because when Jess and I moved from Kentucky, I didn't have a job. And so naturally, when you move to a town, where's the first place you go to get a job? The local running store,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yep.
So I hit up all the places that all the shops, drop it off my resume, and to get a job in a running store, you have to basically wait for someone to die,
Yeah.
or they finally go pro,
Yeah,
right? You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's like the
I got
fast
sponsors I'm out.
Yeah, it's your local fast and famous people making $9
just-
an hour working at the store forever.
Just
Waiting
go
for
into
that.
the fitting room and stay there overnight.
Yeah.
That's usually what I do.
All that.
That's a great idea, actually. I like that. Yeah. So how was you received? I mean, because it is a small community, right? And so, the mindset of small communities, here come some outsiders, right?
Sure.
Here come some people that are from Kentucky.
Yeah.
How did you cultivate what you have to what you have now?
It was actually pretty easy. I mean, we bought our commute is 0.2 miles
That's
from here to
sweet.
the house. So we bought a home in the community, and we give back as much as we can. We do a weekly run club here. We put our races on. We do trail work here. Half the trails that are back there were built by some of our people. And, I mean, we may only have 3,800 people who live here, but the ultra scene's nuts. I mean, our closest friends, 5 or 6 guys that we train with every Saturday and Sunday, we've all done hundreds. Our neighbors across the street, they've done 700 or 800s. I mean, they did Hard Rock before it was Hard Rock, when you could just show up the morning of and run.
That's awesome.
They've done, that's when you got like a bolo tie as a fin, like before they did the buckles,
Sure.
That's awesome.
Paul DeWitt,
Yeah.
who has won Leadville 100 several times, lives around the corner.
Oh, does
We've got
he?
a North Face athlete who lives right up here. I mean, it's a mecca. I mean,
I live in Boulder.
Jeremy lives in Boulder,
Yeah.
close proximity to Ironbeard.
Yeah.
One.
Ironbeard
Ironbeard
one.
Ironbeard one. You
Yeah.
got to
The other
don't-
Ironbeard's taken. I
other
cannot
Iron-
get it
yeah.
from
You
that
can't.
guy.
And when you you got to get that one on the end there.
Yeah.
You guys look a little different.
we do. We do look different.
Tell me he's
For
got
me,
a beard, though.
I'll speak to one. I'll speak to one thing that probably Chad and Jesse will probably humbly not talk about, which is that they've created a family. I mean, they've created when you talk about how did they fit in, how did they get here? I mean, these guys are. This is people what they really enjoy, and these guys have opened up their doors, their home, their arms to the community and to people, and they're all about connecting with genuine, people in the scene, but more so, you can just feel it in the way that they interact with people, and they're just awesome people to know.
Because I see this place as just a hangout place. Like, people just come to hang out and
Yeah.
just have bourbon and
For sure.
chat.
Oh,
right?
yeah. So when that wall was there, we didn't take it down that long ago. And this space was just kind of storage, but it was actually, we used to call it the Athletes Lounge.
Right.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah,
Which
I
was
do
like-
miss a little.
Yeah,
bit.
which was code word for, like, we would have a group run on Sunday morning, and we do like a 10 or 11 mile route to a plane crash that's from the 40s. It's still down back there. And we would have these group runs, and like 20 people would show up, and they would come from like Boulder and
Oh,
Louisville and like this, just all these places. And we would run at like 10 a.m. and we'd run for 2 or 3 hours. And then we would all kind of congregate in the athletes lounge and drink till like 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah, pretty boozed up.
Yeah. And then, it's small town. So like the sheriff comes over and he's like, everything okay?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, we're good. He's like, all right, you guys just usually aren't here this late. Just want to make sure.
And the sheriff is 0.1 miles away.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
close.
Keeps an eye on you,
Yeah,
for sure.
Exactly.
That's
Keeps us
really-
in line.
That's really
yeah.
cool.
RIP Athletes Lounge.
Yeah.
You guys missed that, huh? You can see it. And you can see. Look, I'm looking across at Jeremy, and he's got
know,
some
like-
things going through his head of the
Yeah.
athlete. Oh, I remember that
Some of
one
my most
time.
fondest and not so fondest memories have come from the athletes lounge for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we did
Dance offs.
some great dance offs happened for sure. Yeah. And then we did the name tag
Oh,
thing
yeah.
on the last run. That was really fun.
Yeah.
Well, at least the last one I was too.
Yeah.
So
now with the runs and you guys you talked about with the shop itself, the runs and that. Do you kind of slow that down through the winter? Do the runs kind of stay the same? You meet here, and the shop's not open, or what?
So our official weekly Wednesday night run club is finished for the year. It stopped at time change, and then when the time changes again, we'll pick it back up. But we officially do stupid things throughout the year. like one of the things that we're known for is our redneck triathlon that we just had.
The best event.
Which is probably the most fun you'll ever have on trails here in Palmer Lake or anywhere in the world, really. And Mowgli, one of our race team guys, is actually the race director of that. We just host it. And Mowgli's part of the Mountain Hobo crew. We, PD Runco and Mountain Hobo actually share like a 50% custody of Mowgli. He's like our little Mexican child that's here in the summer, but then he goes back to California in the winters.
He does have a real name, and his name is Alex Lopez. You may have heard the name because he won Silver Rush, the 50 this year as well.
Yeah,
Beat
Mike Aish.
He's kind of okay.
Yeah, he's our one fast person that we allow on most Okayest race team. Everybody else.
He slips in.
Yeah.
He slides under the
But
radar.
he just kind of showed up and never left. And
so he's the guy that stayed in the dressing room overnight.
Yeah.
Come in the morning and he's laying there.
Yeah.
And he's beautiful too. That's the other reason we keep him around.
Hair.
Yeah.
If you would like to find Mowgli on social media, you can search #GirlsWhoUltra.
Yep. That's his hashtag.
That's his hashtag that we've given him.
He's about ready to blow up.
Yeah.
Even more.
He's super fast. He's a good kid. I mean, he got a couple sponsorship offers after that race, and he was like, "No, it's all right. I just run for PD Runco and Mountain Hobo." And we were like, "You're
Fantastic.
crazy. You're an idiot."
That's so cool.
That is really dumb.
Yeah. But no, so our redneck triathlon is one of our winter, I guess it's our off-season events that we do, which Alex came up with and bought pellet guns for.
Uh-oh.
And it's just a really simple concept, and it's short distance, which is unlike us, and you run 400 meters on trail, and then you chug a beer, and then you shoot your empty beer can with a pellet gun, and then you run that 400 meters again. Yeah. And that's one lap. And we go head-to-head for time, and then once everybody goes, we take the two fastest times, and they go head-to-head for the overall Grand Champion Award.
Man.
And then you actually do 2 beers on that one. And right now the course record is like 2 minutes and 33 seconds or something.
It's ridiculous.
It's crazy. I mean, it was nuts. So that's one of our unofficial events that we do in the off season.
That would have to be an off season.
Yeah, and
we did it.
So we do that once during the race season, which we call taper games.
Right.
Which is before everybody's big 100. Instead of tapering, we do that because, I mean,
why not?
Why not?
What else you gonna do?
Get
grumpy.
And I did it like 2 weeks before Javelina, I think. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it was a good prep for that race.
So how many people train for it? How many people secretly go train with a pellet gun? I know the beer part probably just
I don't think any of us really had access to anything that fires that's dangerous. I mean, everything we do is dangerous, but I don't think any of us own a pellet gun.
Yeah, I don't know. He bought these from some guy that he met.
That's usually how most stories
And he's like, no, they're legit. They have scopes. We're like,
which makes them even more
So we're like, okay,
sketchy.
well, we got to get these through town first, and then into national forest without anybody noticing. But keep in mind, this is it's all redneck theme, and we do 2 teams. Even though it's an individual competition, we do jorts versus shants.
Oh,
which jorts are cut off,
jean shorts,
or you get shants, which are a little bit longer. So we're walking through our little town of 3,000 people, and everybody knows us, up into Pike National Forest on a beautiful Saturday mid-morning when everyone is out on the trails, and we're in jorts and shants, and Mowgli has his American flag pants on and camo and the most white trash things you've ever seen, and 2 rifles with scopes and a 30-pack of Coors Banquet.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I don't see a red flag anywhere.
The looks you get on the way up and down are priceless.
That's when cars start leaving town, jumping on the highway. They're gone.
Well, luckily you're on the trails, so at least you don't have to run into any vehicles.
Yeah,
they're just leaving town. They don't want to know what's going to happen.
That's fun. It is absolutely a blast. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you guys you're involved, as you mentioned, with the redneck tribe, but you have unofficial, official. You're not just a shop. You're not just the athletes lounge stuff. You have your race directors, right? You put on unofficial and official. Let's talk about a few of these because Joel, I think, wants to come out.
I think Joel will do really well at the 0.5K run.
Mm-hmm.
He seems like he could eat a few donuts.
Yeah.
So the 0.5K run, technically, we're not the race directors of. We host packet pickup, or we're kind of anything that's involved in running, even if it's just simply we dress up and we go heckle the runners, we consider it ours. But no, the 0.5K is, so we have a lake across the street, Palmer Lake, our namesake, and the 0.5K is just what it sounds like. The gun goes off, and you run 0.5K, and halfway through there's a donut aid station and there's beer at the finish, and it's a big deal. It raises money for I guess you could call it a foundation here in town called Awake the Lake, because our lake was dry for a few years. We didn't have water. We just got it back. So that essentially raises money. And this year there were, I think, 900 people that came to run 0.5K.
Oh, my gosh.
Which is huge.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it was nuts. And I mean, that's more than our 4th of July. Our 4th of July fun run, it rings about 750 to 800.
Oh, my
and
gosh.
The 0.5K was a big deal. But I would say the one that we enjoy the most is our 24-hour fun run.
Okay.
Which is in April. It's coming up. We're thinking April 8th. We're waiting to get permitting. It's either going to be April 8th or the weekend after this year. And our permit limit is 200, so you got to sign up fast to get in. And it
Real fast.
And it's around our lake, which is a loop with 0 elevation gain.
Oh, yeah.
And it's 0.82.
Oh,
and
my.
most miles wins. And this will be our third.
Yeah, I think
Just,
third
you know,
year.
It'll be our third year
Yep.
going in. It is 4th, and it's a blast. It's awesome. So here's the thing. So you don't get anything. You sign up, you don't get a T-shirt, you don't get a hat, you don't get a swag bag, you don't get any of the stuff that you end up throwing away afterwards. It's $28 that gets you entry. It's very much fat ass style where we provide some things. We do like 10 pounds of bacon, and we do a lot of bourbon and a lot of Coors Banquet and some Jimmy Dean sausages. Shout out to Jimmy Dean sausage.
Hey, did you notice that Jimmy Dean no longer has an Instagram?
No way.
So, just a side note here.
I'm
So
good- I'm good
we
with
have
it.
a thing on social media. Obviously, that's why we're so cool. To be honest, yeah.
And if
now
you-
we're talking and we're like, Jesus, we're not actually that cool.
No, you. And I'm
But-
going to say, if you're not following these guys on social media, you have to. It's some
Yeah.
of my
Oh,
favorite
If you're
things
not
to see.
following us, you're dead to us.
Yeah, you.
I saw a video even from, just real quick, I'm interrupting now, but from yesterday, picking up paper bags.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the bag game?
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
I'll let you go, but
Sure.
please follow these guys on social media. You
Yeah, I
won't
think
regret it.
so. I mean, part of our, just as a sidetrack, part of the hook is definitely is fun. I mean, what we do is really fun, and we think that interlaces well into the ultra running, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, so I noticed I went to tag Jimmy Dean on a recent post because a lot of our posts involve full frontal
Sure.
shots,
Well,
and
I mean-
they don't. They're not even. They're not there
yeah.
anymore.
So
yeah,
we're
Which is
such
sad.
we're such a small shop in a small unknown town that. But we've developed quite a decent social media following.
Oh,
So
yeah.
when we want something, we just start heckling people,
yeah, it's pretty brilliant.
and we get everybody on board to do it. And it's just how we operate because we have to. Because when we first started this, we would call brands and try to. I'm not going to say a name, but I ran in a shoot for 10 years. Like I was loyal as can be, and then we opened the shop, and I called them first, and they're like, "You guys are too small for us."
Yikes.
Or sure, we'll come in, but we've got
These are minimums.
a purchase minimum. I'm like, dude, we're 400 square feet. Like, we can't do this. I've been running your shoes for 10 years. You can't help us out. Like, sorry, we can't. So now that we've got a little bit of a following, we feel like we can go after the people that we want, which is really funny. Like, we heckle out Tailwind a lot.
Yeah,
But
which they deserve.
They deserve.
Yeah.
Jenny, Rocky, we're coming
Yeah.
for you. But they're a great company,
Yeah.
and they've been great to us, and they help sponsor our 24-hour race. They send us, bulk Tailwind and bags, and so our most recent campaign is Jimmy Dean sausages.
Yeah. So that's why I wanted to break the news to you, because I'm sort of surprised you didn't notice. But I went to tag them recently, and unfortunately, I just can't find them anymore.
So you probably shut them down.
I think that they got and then
All we
remember
wanted
when
was
they
a morning
liked one of my
swap.
pictures, and I was so excited that Jimmy Dean started liking some
Oh, I
photos,
know,
and I
yeah.
sent that to you.
Yeah, I was like, we're making some
it's a big
ground
deal.
here.
Finally, we're getting an impact here, getting some
Yeah.
traction. But yeah.
So we have our race team sort of has sponsors already, but not really. We team up with a couple people, but we have like true trail and ultra running sponsors like Pikes Peak Beer Company and the cider house in town, and now we've got 300 Days Distillery. So we know we have our priorities in line.
That's right. You got
So when we come and we heckle you, it's probably for good reason.
Yeah.
you're being
exactly.
heckled by these guys.
Yeah.
You've basically made it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Right?
It's
No matter
because
what
we-
you think.
It's because
Yeah.
we love you. That's all.
Yeah.
We make fun of you. It's because we love you. So, but no, back to our 24 hours. So it's $28 to get in, and we're there for 24 hours, and you can run as much or as little as you want.
Or it's 56 for two people.
Yeah.
I
Deal
did
of
the
century.
math really fast.
Yeah. That does make sense.
I'm
So
doing
we have 10 pounds of
pulling out my
bacon,
calculator. Wait. Okay.
and we're probably most known for our giveaways. So being a shop, now that we've got some established accounts, we just hit them up and we're like, we're putting this race on. You got to do this, and we just bug them until they send us a bunch of free stuff, and then we give it all away. And so it's a 24-hour race. Most miles wins, but it's like last year, whoever won the first lap got a Solomon hydration pack.
Wow.
Which is hilarious because you see people sprinting on lap
one?
one of a 24-hour race. It's which is great for us.
That's a really cool idea.
And we just set up one aid station, and if you run 100 miles, it's considered the fun run, and you get a buckle, and you get your money back. And it's that simple, and there's no swag. And we have people who come out and run, 100 miles or 106. And
Jeremy Bradford.
Jeremy
ran it.
Oh, and Jeremy. So Jeremy Bradford has ran it every year. Jeremy just ran across the country with his family, following him in Winnebago. And last year, that was probably the best part was Jeremy came and had ran all day somehow without realizing that we were giving away buckles for the first time, which were made by Elevation Culture, who you guys know.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's running out of time, and he's got like 4 or 5 miles to go. And I'm like, dude, you got to pick it up, or you're not going to get a buckle. And he was like, wait, you have buckles? And we're like, yeah, we don't know how you didn't get that. So anyway, so he speeds it up, and he's running like 7:30 pace, which, I don't know if you've ever ran a race that has 0 elevation gain. It's the hardest thing you'll ever
brutal.
do.
I wouldn't want it.
It's so hard.
Yeah.
Like just using the same muscles over and over. So then we send Mowgli out to pace Jeremy to get on track to get a buckle finally, because he's ran 100 miles every year, but this year he decided to take it easy and run with his kids, who his kids run like 20 or 30 miles. So he's coming around, and Mowgli's keeping him on pace, and he's coming around the last bend to hit mile 100, and he's got like 1 minute and 40 seconds left. Plenty of time. So much time. But when he comes around the bend, we pick up the megaphone and we start chanting, 10, 9, 8, 7, and he takes off sprinting as hard as he can at mile like 99.9, just at a dead sprint. And we're counting it down. We time it to where when he crosses the tape, it's like 2. Oh, you got it.
Yeah. You still have like 1 minute and 10 seconds left, man.
Yeah.
He really appreciated that.
Yeah, that was fun. And we do other awards like you do. Like Jeremy is quite the artist and very creative, and he made. What are some of the awards that you made?
I made the Pure Grit Award, which is just for the toughest guy or gal out there that just kind of grinds it out. And there was a gentleman that drove all the way from where in an RV. Isn't this the guy? I'm forgetting his name.
Georgia or something? Or no?
He drove all the way from somewhere, and he slept in his RV, and he got the Pure Grit Award. Real humble guy.
Older dude.
Yeah. Anyway,
Georgia or somewhere. Like drove all night.
Just for the race.
Just for the race. Yeah. Just awesome. Super guy. Best Costume Award, which was the Half Man.
Yeah. Yeah, we do best costume. We do the
and then also
beer lap at midnight.
Best Vomit. So it's Best Vomit,
yeah.
Best Costume, and the Pure Grit Awards. Yeah. So yeah,
what's
I had the pleasure of making
on
this.
106.
106.
106.
Chris Boyack last year, and then Kim got the women's, right?
Yep. Kim,
102 or 103.
Mm-hmm. Kim Jacobs out of Denver, Colorado.
Yeah. It's a cool race because we have basically one aid station. So you run through it. So you like a lot of people bring their family, bring their kids. And we really emphasize like this is perfect for your first ultra. So we get a lot of people from the community who just come over and walk a lap. They'll run 2 miles. Or they'll run 50K and they get 24 hours to do it. Or we'll have kids who come and run a marathon over 24 hours.
That's
Or they'll
awesome.
run 2 miles. And all kids get trophies.
So you guys are kind of the evil because you're planting that seed. So you're like that friend that gets people into that ultra scene.
And then I started, so like just back to the race director thing, I started the Patasso beats Boulder.
Mm-hmm.
So Patasso is a preserve up near Boulder. It's about 25 minutes up the canyon. It sits at like 7,000-ish feet. And so I put on a run up there that's the same day as the Boulder.
Oh, wow.
So obviously, and that's a huge race. I think they draw like 50,000 people to the Boulder. So this is sort of the anti-Boulder run.
Yeah.
It's on a trail and it gets you up out of the city a bit, and so it's sort of the stick it to the man dirt option.
And it could possibly be a payday. I mean,
it is. Yeah, we have a mountain preem as well, which is
first
just
one to the
impressive.
summit gets Big wad of cash.
Yeah, there's a quick run up to Bummer's Rock, and it's about 0.2 miles, I think, to the top of Bummer's Rock, and it's steep as all hell. It's like 30% grade in some sections, and there's a mountain premium. I usually end up putting the money in, but whatever. Yeah, you can earn a couple bucks, and Mowgli, of course, won it.
He did, and
not even knowing the line.
I took off. So Jeremy was still giving instructions, and I took off.
Yeah,
because I thought, well, if I'm going to get the $7, and this is the only way I'm going to get it,
$7. Yeah,
and I'm from Kentucky. I'm sea-level runner at heart, and of course, Mowgli comes by in his 1.5-inch splits and no shirt.
And there's a fall summit, which I knew he'd hit first, and then I figured I could gap him, and then no, didn't happen. So, yeah.
So you guys do a lot of these little races, right? I mean, I call them little, but I mean, 200 people for the 24 hours, 700 for these other ones. That's a lot of people pulling into this community, right? So, I mean, do a lot of people in the community take part in these, like the 0.5K and all these other ones?
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine the 0.5K is probably all local, and that's mostly, we have very little to do with that. That's mostly just a community event that happens to be running. That we kind of became the official packet pickup for everything that happens within a 15-mile radius of us. Which is great because we love it. People get to meet us that didn't know we were here. But I don't know. I mean, we're huge on that. We just that was one of the main goals for starting the shop when Jess and I kind of sat down and, you do the normal, well, who's your target audience? What's your goals? And it was kind of like, well, we have such great trails here. We have such an athletic-minded community. Like our main goal is, can we provide a hub for these people in town, somewhere where they can come and hang out? Like when we have, maybe it's not the athletes lounge, maybe it's just to come in and give us a trail conditions report, or they just want to stop in and say hi, or they want to come and restock on Tailwind, or they just want to come and just let us know what races they're doing, or they want to drop their old race bibs off because they just want to have something in here. So that was kind of the main thing, is like, let's provide a hub in this community that not a lot of people know about, but the people who do they know it's paradise.
Yeah.
And before that, to have such an extreme large number of trail runners and ultra runners in here, we desperately needed that. Plus, I mean, like I said, we're 25 minutes from the Springs and we're 40 minutes from Denver. You got to drive to REI every time you need something, or one of the other shops. So when you come in here, that's another reason that you see all of this like kind of menagerie of things. It's because people are like, well, it says you're a run company, but you have climbing gear, or you have, a backpacking pack or a fast packing stuff. And it's like, well, yeah, it's because we're trail runners. Like we do more things. Like think about it. Like I know in Colorado, when you go to a race, you're typically sleeping in the back of your car or at a campsite, and you've got your stove and the jet. You've got things to live off of, and it's so much more than you can buy at your typical run shop. So it's like, you go down to Javelina, like when Jeremy just ran Javelina 100, and it's like, you got to go to REI to get this, then you got to go to the running shop to get this, then you got to go here to get this. It's like, well, what if you just came to one place? And it was all right here, and you could talk to nice people while you were there, who have already ran the race, and they can tell you what to expect and who's going to be there and what the conditions are going to be like. And don't forget to call us when you get done and let us know how you did. So.
And here's a bourbon.
Yeah, that's different from this guy over here. I'm used to swilling a beer or two, but the bourbon, I got like dragon. I'm like, every time I take a drink, I'm like, I'm not used to drinking this stuff.
Smells amazing,
but much. You need to,
mind you, before noon.
Yeah. Well, exactly. I still have like a food coma from yesterday, so there's still not a whole lot of space in there.
Yeah, this will flush it out for you.
But really, this place, me and Joel were talking about it. I'm like, okay, I'm going to Colorado. I'm going to be there a few days. I'll do a show. I know you're not going to be there. Colorado, I mean, really, there's a lot in Colorado, people-wise, and I was tied in with Pearl for a while and some run teams, so I know a lot of people. But right away, we were both, dude, we got to go into the run company, man, PD Run Co.
We appreciate it.
Handpicked.
Yeah, we have to go, and I didn't know where you were. Like, I'm not as familiar with Palmer Lake, so I'm like, well, I don't know how far that is from my sister's house.
And a lot of people don't. I mean, there are people who come up from the Springs that like 20 minutes away, and they come in the door and they're like, "How long have you guys been here?" And we're like, "We're approaching 2 years," and they're like, "No, how long's the town been here?" We're like, "Oh, forever."
Well, that's the joke too. Is it's like, where the F is Palmer Lake?
Oh yeah,
right.
Oh, I had no idea.
Did you guys notice that the sign's missing too? Like you pull in off the highway, and the sign that was there, I think somebody hit it. So it's gone now, which I was going to try to find in the grass and bring it into the shop, but
it's
not
Hanging
around.
on the wall.
So
Yeah, this is just, it really is.
I almost got lost because that's the only turn.
I mean, I'm looking around and it does. It's got everything, but it's got a map on the wall of the trails that are right behind you. So if you come in, even if you're coming through town, you want to make runs, stop in, you can find out where to go.
Yeah.
But again, it's that whole culture. And me and Joel talk about it, and we've gone to some cool run shops, and we've gone to non-cool run shops. But it's that whole, you go in, you talk to people, and you feel like you're not an outsider, right? Because it's like you share the same passion, you share the same idea, but now you're talking to people that know the back door, know the spots, and they're going to tell you where you can go and what you're going to need. And
what to expect. And I think that's huge. I mean, not that there's anything, inherently wrong with the old ways or the way every other store do things. And, it's not, I just think times are changing. And it's not to say that, like, we're putting big box stores out of business, because that's not the case at all. But I think these days, people's, I don't know.
Black Friday sale was off the hook.
We need to get the door open soon.
I know we've closed the store, and there's a line down to the antique shop.
Right. But it's just like you walk into a big box store that looks exactly like the one that's within that's on the other side of town, and it's the fast people, and there's and there's great shops in Colorado. I mean, don't get me wrong, the stores here are great.
Yeah.
But I know of, like, when you back in Kentucky where the shops aren't so great, there's definitely it's a different vibe there, where, like, you might be getting sold a shoe because that company's running a spiff.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it is. I mean, they got to make money. That's not a great paying job. It's not very rewarding to work in a slinging shoes all day. It's fun, but you don't make a ton of money. And if you're working off spiffs, so that's just something we don't do. It's like people come in all the time and they ask for a certain shoe, and I'm like, we don't carry it. They're like, why not? And I'm like, well, it doesn't match our trails. Here's something that does, and this is what we would recommend if you're going to run here. They're like, well, I live in Kansas or wherever. I'm like, what are you running on? What are your trails like? Shouldn't you go to your local place and ask them? I mean, like, they would probably know. You know what I mean? So, like, I just feel like times are changing now, where people's bullshit factors are so dialed in that I would imagine, like, I know one of the reasons we created this is because after I couldn't find a job in one of those stores, I was like, almost said there. I was like,
I almost said the word.
I almost said that.
So I came home and I was like, this is bullshit. Like, I've been beating on their door and trying to get a job there forever. If they're not hiring, that's one thing. But it's like, well, let's just create it. Like, this is bullshit because, like, we have to go in the running store and then we got to go to REI and do all this stuff. Let's just do it how we want, the way we think it should be, and just see how people respond to it. And that's like when I was telling you got here, like, somebody will walk in the door and like, yeah, we came from Kansas.
Yeah.
Like 7 hours away. And I'm like, where are you going? They're like, oh, we're here. We came here. And I was like,
that's where we came.
Oh, shit.
430 feet of glory.
You got to step it up.
Not only is it about the way you think it should be done, but it's also about the way that, like, the way who you're appealing to. You know what I mean? Like, who comes into this shop, this is also the way they want it. You know what I mean?
If you guys were where I lived or vice versa, you'd be sick of me.
Yeah. I mean, everything's
literally. I'd be here all the time.
I like to think that everything is curated. It's almost like, in our opinion, it's kind of a mix between everything here is made in Colorado, and if it's not, it's a greatest hits. We got the
hits there.
It's like a greatest hits album.
I wasn't hearing
like the best of the best.
I like that.
So you come in, like, the Patagonia Straight Up Pro is not made in Colorado, but it's the best on the market.
Yeah.
So that's what we're gonna have. If it just happens to be the best thing that is also made in Colorado, it's just icing on the cake for us. So I don't know. That's just super important to us. Because when you go to a race, you see the same stuff over and over.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's the point of carrying all the other things just because they exist?
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Well, you can tell you guys are just so that authentic, and I think that's a big thing. Because when I first started getting into running, I didn't have a running background. I will not stress, I hated running. I was a soccer guy. I ran because I chased a ball around. Yeah. And so when I got into running,
90 minutes of running with a ball.
Yeah. And then you didn't know when you were done, but you had something to take your brain away. But I had a friend of mine that introduced me to this stupid thing, and he's like, "Hey, pace me at Wasatch." I'm like, "Okay, what does pace mean?" NASCAR, do I drive next to you? I need a four-wheeler. And so when I go into a run store, I didn't know what I needed. I didn't know are you a pronator, supinator, need cushion? I'm like, just need some shoes,
Sure.
really, you know?
Yeah.
But I came into that same thing you talked about. It's like they were on spiffs, or this is what I've run in since I ran track in high school and then cross country. I'm like, okay, well, I'm bigger than you.
Here's the Air Pegasus.
Yeah, you
know?
run 615s.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I'm like, yeah, 615.
I want to like, yeah. It's like when you come in here, it's like this is what it's like when you throw up on it after you've been chasing a time cutoff for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And you weigh 200 pounds.
It's
and
wear
you-
tested
and
legit.
yeah, and it's got way too many miles on it than it should have, but we run through it anyway because we know it works.
Yeah.
Like this trucker hat.
Which I wear.
Absolutely.
I love that
Is
hat.
the fastest trucker hat.
And it made me faster. I posted it on social media.
Yeah,
I wore
you
it,
did.
and
I saw that.
felt my dog got
Yeah.
tired.
Yeah.
For the first
it's called
time. He's
the
like, "What's going on?"
HATT. It's a high altitude training trucker.
I like it.
Yeah.
They got that exam camo hat.
Gordy Ainsley has one.
I saw that.
Gordy Ainsley has one. Yeah. Well, Gordy Ainsley also likes bourbon.
Yeah, he does.
All right, I
family.
got to get a bourbon liking then. I got to
Right?
fit right in.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I'd go to the running shop, and they'd be like, well, this one weighs, 10.3, but this one weighs 9.8.
Here's the
I'm
drop.
I'm like, are you
et cetera.
kidding me right now? Have you seen me? Do you think like 8 ounces makes a difference?
Yeah.
No.
He's
You
like,
know?
over 100 miles, though. Maybe it will.
It's the pounding on it. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
the pounding on it comes from between my nipples to my belly button.
Yeah.
That's where the pounding's coming from,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm not going to worry about that if I get extra bacon on my burger. My
Right.
shoes are going to have to hold up, right?
Exactly.
But they're like, no, you're going to want something lighter. I'm like,
Yeah.
I pretty much want to be lighter, and that ain't happening. So
Yeah.
I'm going to filter
Sure.
my shoes. They can be heavy.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Yeah.
like what do you call them? The husky shoe.
The husky
Right?
shoe.
Yeah.
That is a category of
It
shoe.
is. Should be.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, this place is super. I'm going to keep saying this because I want you guys to understand. I was pumped. I didn't sleep last night. I was so excited to get here. I really was, Mike. Dude, I can't wait to go to this shop.
I had
I've
like
been
4
online.
alarms set this morning.
I've been
to make
online
sure.
stalking everything possible from website to social media. I'm like, this is going to be the coolest stop. And I was like, my wife drove with me. She's out in the antique stores, probably
Yeah.
doing some Black Friday shopping.
Crushing it.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I really am excited. And then we drove up, like, there it is. Because I saw the sticker on the window. I'm like, okay, here it is. And
Where do we park?
It was glowing,
Yeah.
and it was like Dreamweaver. And it's
Jesus opens the door.
like, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Welcome.
I'm here. So I'm super psyched to be here because you guys do things the way, and I mean this. I wish I could do things. Like I still have a problem with doing things I want to do because I'm worried. Right?
Yeah.
I'm like, man, these guys, they do what they want to do, and it's awesome.
It's all smoke and mirrors.
No, it's
I mean,
not.
let's be honest. It's a lot easier to do what you want in 400 square feet.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
in a town nobody's ever heard of when the rent's cheap. You know what I mean? So that definitely helps. I mean, I always tell people, especially the people close to us, I always sell it a lot sexier than it is because it's my baby. You know, it's like mine and Jesse's vision, and it's like that's what keeps us up at night. And it's like, it's not uncommon to like see me in here moving things around for 4 hours on a day we're closed, just because I want to change it up so it looks different. So we definitely can do what we want, but it hasn't always necessarily been the case. I
Yeah.
mean, when we first got started, our biggest hurdle was getting brands on board. And then all of a sudden people start to learn who you are, and then they come knocking and calling. And it's like, well,
You said no earlier, so
happened?
we're going to say no now.
Yeah.
We're
but
happy.
what also was really cool is a lot of
Right,
brands
exactly.
a lot of the brands that we admire have kind
Felicia.
of figured out about us too. So that's been cool as well, like Tailwind and and you guys and like some of the other like the Solomon reps and like
Jimmy Dean.
one of the Innovate reps is on our race team.
That's
So
awesome.
it's just like it's cool to like go from like wanting to get a job at some run shop to like owning it, but also like developing this like family. Because when we moved to Colorado, we didn't know very many people, and now we got this whole group
That's
of
so
people
cool.
that it's that kind of identify with us. You know what I mean? It's not that they're like fans of the shop. It's more of we're mountain people. We're the same. Like we're
I'm
all into the
fans of
same
the shop.
stuff. Yeah.
I'm halfway tempted just to drive here to shop going forward.
You
Honey, I need
should.
some shoes. I know it's Friday. I'll be home Sunday. I got to get some shoes. You know how much you're going to pay for that and get?
Right,
Yep,
exactly,
I do.
yeah.
But I'm going to get some bourbon.
Call it, text me, and I'll be there in 7 minutes.
Yeah, but I'm going to get some, I'm going to build up to bourbon to where I can hang out with these guys. If we had beer, I'd be okay. But yeah, the bourbon, that's legit stuff,
Yeah.
right?
We usually drink. Yeah. We
usually
drink
drink
a
a
little
lot.
bit.
Yeah. They're all looking over
Our
at
events,
Jess.
we're looking
They
at
both
Jess
look right
for-
over at her.
Yeah.
Like, don't we?
We drink a decent amount. Last year during our 24-hour race, we only got the cops called on us once. So
It's true.
that's also a course record.
And he's
Yeah.
used to it,
Yeah.
right?
That's good.
Yeah.
He's probably
They
like,
just
guys,
showed like, guys, like, it's April.
it's,
It's
not
early.
here.
It's not racing season yet.
Yeah,
Technically.
yeah.
Slow down.
We just
So-
started.
So now we're going to tackle this next one that I want to talk about because we've mentioned it. You guys keep mentioning it, and you both have the shirts on, which are the coolest things, man. right? So I'm looking at these guys in shirts, and
Same
it's
season.
Colorado's
Same shirt.
most Okayest race team. And when I first started like telling people to follow you guys, like whether on the podcast or through social media before I met you, I'm like, this is the right way to do it. People were loving it. Like, dude, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Colorado's most Okayest. Let's talk about that race team right now.
I mean, that
We don't shoot porn anymore is what the back says.
Yeah, so when the guys drop off the new design for
This is awesome.
for the new T-shirt with the colors most Okayest design on the front, it looks very strip clubby. Wouldn't you and Matt? Don't you agree?
Oh, for sure. It reminds me of there's a show with Mark Wahlberg, right? And I don't know movies very well, but it was like an old show where he owned a club, and it was kind of, I don't remember.
Yeah.
Someone out there listening, if you get it, just post it and I'll give you something free.
please.
So they sent us the new design for the race team shirts, and it looks very strip clubby, which very much fits the
Our vibe.
the personality.
Sexy,
It's a very
yeah.
strip clubby vibe.
If we had money.
And when I saw it, I was like, we'll pay for it. We'll have it put on T-shirts, but we're gonna go all out and do it our way. So I just had the screen printer add a little sentence on the back that just says we don't shoot porn anymore. And it's
not
been
a
great.
little sentence. Let's be honest.
It takes up shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the race team came from sort of like this whole reason that we kind of created the shop was out of frustration, because most race teams, people are really fast, really fast, and that's awesome. And I wish I was one of those people and was really fast. But the truth is, most people aren't really fast. Most people are mid-packers.
Yep.
And a lot of the things that we do in here are for the mid-packers. You get mid-pack advice here.
That's why I feel so at home.
you get you get mid-pack, products. We tell you how they work, and you run in them for 32 hours, or you don't miss a cutoff. Things like that. So that's kind of where the team came from. And because we had such a hub of ultra and trail runners right here in town that we trained with anyway, we were basically a team. It's just a bunch of our buddies that we all train together, and we all sign up for the same hundreds because we can all crew and pace each other, and the wives can come and the kids can come, and that kind of mix. And so that's kind of where it came from. And at first it was just local. It was just people who lived right here in town, our original race team guys, and then Jeremy's our team captain, and
should I be addressing him differently then? Since
You
he's
should,
the
yeah.
we should have probably
Yeah, the
talked
application
about
process is pretty strict.
Sorry about
and
that.
you're definitely chipping away with your first bourbon.
Well, that's what
so.
Joel's like, dude, we got to text him. We got to figure out this. I know it's Colorado, but we got to do something with them with the
Well,
TrailManners
our
stuff.
reach is broad.
Yeah,
I mean,
we're
not limiting.
We're the
our,
middle of the pack guys from Utah.
Yeah.
Right. Well, we have, a couple people outside of Colorado who are on it. A couple of my running buddies from Kentucky are on it, and we've got, Pete, our Australian friend who lives in Hong Kong, is on the team. And
That guy's
I'm gonna need a roadmap
awesome.
for that
Yeah,
one. Hong
yeah.
Kong to Australia.
he's
Colorado.
Australian, living in Hong Kong.
yeah,
and runs some of the most epic trails.
yeah.
He's
And
got to be a legend there already.
so it's now beyond Colorado. We've got Jess in California, different Jess, Calamity Jess in California, and Mowgli has spent half time in California, half time in Colorado. And even other people, other runners on other race teams for other shops.
Want to be on this one?
Not necessarily that, but they're part of our family, but they may have prior obligations for them, or they still identify themselves with us, and which we don't care. It's not like this super, closed circuit of people that are only certain people are allowed in. But we don't necessarily just open it up to anybody.
So it's so here's the word I have for it. It's not exclusive, but it's not all inclusive.
Yeah.
Is
Correct.
that kind of right?
Yeah, pretty
Okay.
much.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
an elite mid-pack categorization. I mean, it's the middle.
some of the
crop.
fastest mid-packers
You have
will
like your
ever
cream
come
of the
across.
crop,
We're mid-pack champions.
and then
See,
you have
that would
yeah.
inspire me to be to that upper echelon of the
Yeah.
pack.
Yeah.
And some people need to get there.
Yeah,
And
and
some people are
that's
too
my
high.
goal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
some
some
people are
you
too
gotta
high,
bring it
so
down
they got to
a
lower
notch.
their standards a little
Yeah.
bit.
Drop it down.
So
a
you're not
notch.
willing to wear jorts,
Yeah.
or Chad prefers shants.
Shants. I'm
Yeah.
older. I mean, well, you're older than me, but I feel like once you hit your
Yeah.
30s, you need to wear shants. Like
Yeah, we're
jorts
not
are too
going to
short.
get there. Then I'm going to need something a lot longer.
You need Japris.
That's what I
Capris
need.
is
That's
another
exactly
category.
what I need. I can
Capris.
spearhead a new category. How's that? Because I'm not.
Speaking of Japris,
the
we need to
fresh
comment on that
chicken.
one again.
I know.
Yeah.
'Cause, yeah, well, see, that's why I like it so much. Because here's a little backstory, and some people out there know: is I years and years and years ago, I helped with Scott Jaime. We built the Pearl Izumi Ultra team, right? So I was working at Smith Optics, and for me,
RIP PI.
Yeah. So I was the team manager, right? So we'd pick up Paul DeWitt was first. He was on the first year of our team.
Paul.
And so I met Paul. I got Jaime, and then as we evolved, we had like Mackie for a while. We had Darcy. We had Dylan Bowman, Timothy Olson. So we had, and they would always make a shirt for me.
Sure.
Just like the team, and I'm like, dude, I can't wear this. Are you kidding me right now?
Yeah,
if I show up to a race with this on, people are going to look at me like I'm a fool. And then
it's like
pressure
wearing the
got
race
to me.
shirt. Yeah.
The pressure got to me. I'm like, dude, if I go, I got to do something special. Like I got to finish in the top like 70%.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So I didn't like that. So I like this whole.
Yeah. Well, we we have expectations for our guys too, but they're just slightly different. It's we would love it if you would wear your shirt to a race, but if you don't want to, you don't have to. We'd love for you to rep us on social media, but if you don't feel like it, don't do it. Like, when you go to a race, we don't expect you to win, but by already being on the team, we know you're going to be super friendly to everybody who's around you. We know you're going to be a great ambassador for the sport. We know when times get tough, you're going to push through. We know you're going to be the loudest person out there having the most fun, like Pete from Hong Kong. And if you ran Leadville 50 this year, you met Pete because he was screaming down the downhills like a maniac and just having the time of his life. So that's kind of like the gap that we fit. It's like there's plenty of fast teams, but there's not a whole lot of teams that are really loud, having a whole lot of fun, and could really care less who won the race.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's I think, I know what you mentioned. I think that's what a lot of ultra runners identify with.
Yeah.
The sponsor side. That's why I try to tell people, it's like, you know what? That's great that so-and-so and so-and-so wears your shoes, but that's such like 2% of the entire people.
Yeah.
What about this guy?
Yeah,
and that's why like Ambassador started blowing up big time. In fact, with the TrailManners, me and Joel have tossed that idea around because we've got people, from different countries or states, and like, hey, do you guys have like an ambassador team? It's like, no, but that's not. But it would be the same thing. You'd have to hit this criteria where you're uber friendly.
Yeah.
You have to be, someone that loves this sport, and not just wants to do it because you get something for free or get a name on a shirt. You have to like genuinely be tied in with your community.
Yeah, I guess you could say we're always taking new people, but there's not necessarily it just sort of happens. Or the worst thing you can do, and we get this email all the time, the worst thing you can do to try to get on our race team is two things: to send us an email and including your race goals and your athletic resume.
Yeah.
And then how many social media followers you have. We get that all the time. They're like, I'm doing this race, this race, this race, and this race, and I have, this many thousand Instagram followers. I could really help you out. And that's when we're like, delete. Because half that stuff is not important to us. That's just not what we do. We have so many guys on our race team who don't even race. Like Logan, I don't know if he's ran a race in years. He's got
Tuscobia coming up, though.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's different.
Yeah.
Tuscobia 165 is where it's like on the 165 miles of the Iditarod Trail pulling a sled, self-supported. So, that's different. And then, we've got Josh, who's like one of our alpine athletes who doesn't even run. He just got back from Nepal. He just is a climber and a mountain dude. And, but granted, we knew, like I said, we've got Mowgli who wins everything he touches. And so
it's more about the fit then, more than anything.
Yeah,
for sure.
So the whole resume, and this is what I'm running. Me and Joel are just doing a video. I don't know if you're cool with that. We're just doing kind of a video of why it would be cool for be the coolest, okayest, Colorado race team. That's just, me and Joel like videos,
right?
And not because of the back of the shirt either. We don't shoot.
Okay, different video.
Yeah. Joel's got a jaded background, but that was like the 90s.
That was from his climbing days.
Yeah, in the 90s in Jackson.
Tetons.
We don't touch on that too often in the show. So because like you said, you guys do it the right way for all gamuts of whether it's the races you put on, the unofficial races, the part that you support anything within a radius of the packet pickup. You guys are making a huge name in what you said, not even 2 years, and people are coming from Georgia to run races that are paying $28, and they probably get it back to maybe get them back home or stop at the Waffle House or.
We got one of the buckles there that's up around the. Will you grab our buckle, Jess, and show it to him? Because you guys used Elevation Culture for
we love
for
Aric
the festival or what?
Yeah,
or
so we used them for some like coasters, but we just announced the Ogden Trail Running Festival, and we're gonna have them do some super cool stuff for that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's a Palmer Lake start
fast, die early.
It's a wooden buckle.
It's a mid-pack mantra.
That's awesome. Yeah, we love, and see that's what we like too. Is we like
it's a cheeseburger in the middle, mind you.
That looks so
That's
good
what you're
right
right
Very
now.
much the
Bourbon
entire-
makes you hungry, huh? Doesn't it? Or is that maybe because my stomach stretched from yesterday and I'm still hungry? I don't know. But, man, that is so cool.
So we can count on you and Joel to come out in April 8th and run the Palmer Lake 24-hour?
Joel's got the Zion 100, I think,
Okay.
that weekend.
Okay.
And I might have to crew him.
Okay, so then you'll be out here for the Leadville 50.
When's that one?
That's in June? July?
July. Yeah, the first week of July. I
Can you
believe.
commit to it right
yeah.
now?
No. We're doing the Beaverhead 100K in July.
Okay,
July
so-
8th, 9th-ish.
He's got a
That
lot of
leaves one
excuses.
race.
No, these
Yeah.
you
Leadville 100.
Good excuses,
Ultra
mind
sign
you.
up. Check Ultra sign up. That's legit. We're on there.
I believe
What's
you.
the next one?
Leadville 100. Lottery opens on Friday.
We probably wouldn't be able to get into
You can do
that
it.
one.
Commit.
Hey, man, but all you can do is
Commit
try.
right now.
Yeah.
Joel, if you're-
Joel.
you got to commit to this one for me.
At the very least, you need to commit to redneck try.
Yep.
One of those opportunities for
Me-
sure,
me and
or
Joel-
taper games.
See,
I
me
mean,
and Joel
we'd
talked
love to
about
have you
not
guys
just
out.
getting out, but coming to cool places just to go on runs. Because we like to go down to southern Utah in the winter because we get all the snow, and they've got some cool red rock that's not snow. But this is absolute, and we got a place to stay. My sister lives close by.
Sure. You can stay with us.
Hell of a, I could stay in this shop.
We get lots of people that stay at the house, like people that just kind of stay and at least
Mowgli
stay
was
for a
there
while.
for what,
Mowgli
5
just
months?
5 months, and then went back to California, and
Sure.
yeah, for sure.
So we got Jess and you that are the shop, and then is there other people that are like super heavily involved where all these ideas spawn from?
I mean,
Is it like a community?
it is. I mean, it's pretty much a family. I mean,
It's like, hey, you should do one of these.
Yeah, I mean, quite a bit of that. I mean, we have, our race team guys are heavily involved in everything. I mean, it's just we do everything as a family, and
Aid Station Charlie.
Aid Station Charlie.
Shout out to Aid Station
Yeah,
Charlie.
and I mean, it's just I don't know. It's just the way because if I'm in here all day and I come up with tons of crazy ideas.
He
You know,
usually texts me first,
Usually-
or Jess, I'm
well,
sure, and then me after.
We think
Jess.
Jess's job title we've decided is the director of common sense.
So
Because
she's the key that holds
Yeah.
this
oh,
place
she's the glue.
together
She's
then.
everything.
All right.
And she's being quiet today because she's having a bad hair day. One of her dreads fell out this morning.
R.I.P. Sad dread.
True story. But usually Jeremy and I come up with something crazy, and we talk about it, and we like get it all figured out, and then we basically submit it to the director of common sense, and she's like, "No, we're not dropping
Which usually
$1,500 on a new glitter cannon, or like we're not." There's no way that we're having custom, onesies made, like just stuff that's like
That's what Kickstarter's for.
right. Yeah, we're not buying a Honda Acura limo to drive to Leadville.
Oh man, I do miss that opportunity.
I want
That
this
was a missed
glitter
one.
cannon to happen. We need to get Jess to drink some of this bourbon so we can get this signed off on. I want this. I
know.
would drive out for the glitter.
That
cannon.
unicorn life.
Yeah, exactly.
And-
Yeah, no, I mean I think that it is. I think that Chad's receptivity to the input from family, from friends, from the community is there, and I think that he's also about tapping into that, and much like you said earlier about what's carried here in the shop is it stuff that we would use on any other kind of pursuit, so like. If I want to buy a hammock and sling it up and and take a nap after a trail run, it's here. It's
Yeah,
available
and
to
that-
me.
and it's made 4 miles down the road.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
So it is. I mean, I think a lot of what he and Jess have created have been just brilliant ideas that no one else would do, and I think that's what makes it fun. You know what I mean? And that's something I'm stoked to always be, getting a random text message about for sure.
And that's why I'm really glad, you're definitely here, Jeremy, is because I can tell just from Chad and the way he's talking about things is you have to really put him in his place. Like, no, you've done this for the community.
Yeah.
Right? Because
Absolutely.
he's not
Yeah.
going to toot his own horn. He's going to tell you why this is here.
Right.
Right? But you're here saying, no, it's bigger than that. This community loves you. You're bringing people together. People that otherwise probably would never know each other, whether it's through social media or the fact that you live, in Boulder.
Exactly.
I mean, he's bringing a community together that
I
always
would
loves
never
what
come
they
to
do.
Palmer Lake. There's no reason for me to.
I've
come
never
here.
been here. I would have drove
Except for
like,
these guys.
like the Cars cartoon. I got kids, so I got to watch the narrated Cars. I'd have drove right by it,
Right.
Exactly.
Because
Yeah.
it's off
Yeah.
the road. But
Yeah.
I drove in and I'm like, this place. We're driving by. I'm like, hey, there's some property for sale.
Sure. Yeah.
You know what I
exactly.
mean? I'm like, this is a cool. This is what I'm about. I don't
Yeah.
like big city stuff. I'm
Yeah.
more of that kind of miser guy, lives under the
Sure.
bridge type thing.
Yeah.
Other than kids, but yeah, that's what's great to hear because Chad and Jess, they're not going to toot their horn, right?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
just how they are. But what they've done, I mean, you've built something other than this 400 square foot killer shop in the old multi-O sport location. You've built a community, and that's part of what we talked about earlier. Is how did you bring your culture, and how did you kind of fit into this community? It's like you kind of help evolve the community, in a positive way.
Sure.
It's not the Macy's Day Parade.
You can't buy this. You can't create. You can't get this through a sponsorship. This isn't your get rich program. Sure.
Mid-level marketing, 400 square foot shop.
Right.
This is I do it because this is what I'm about.
Yeah, it's
and
for
this is what I
for
love.
the people. I mean, it's
guerrilla.
And Jess is a teacher,
right.
and that tells you enough right there. Teachers are the most underappreciated people on the planet, pretty much.
Agreed.
But they do it for the right reasons.
Well, and when we both have other jobs, and it's just part of the happiness process. You know what I mean? It's just there's plenty of run shops out there. We just really wanted to stand for something else.
Yeah.
Because, when they all look the same and they act the same and they all sell the same stuff and
what makes you different, right?
And now they're all getting bought out, which is a shame because the employees at all those other shops are still local.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're great people. You run with them every weekend. You pass them on the trail, and
I wouldn't pass them on.
Well,
They
pass you on the trail.
Maybe on the other way back.
On
their
back
second
already?
On the
loop.
out and back, yeah. But it was just, I don't know. It was just time for, I don't know. We just felt like this is just how we would do it. So that's just what we did. You know what I mean? We don't pay attention to what most other shops do because we're different worlds. You know what I mean? They're in big cities or wherever, and they're doing tons of volume. And, we're just we're all about customer service and giving back and volunteering and trail work and providing, stuff for our community and just trying to,
authentic.
There you go.
That's what keep coming out with this place is just authentic. It's transparent.
Yeah.
You're not that sales pitch. You're not the smoke and mirrors or the anything else. This is what you get when you walk in the door. You're like, hey, how's it going? We've never met, and that's what I was getting nervous on these shows. I told my wife, I'm like, hey, here we go again. I don't have Joel, my little security blanket with me. And I've never met anybody here, so this is...
Gotta hope they're not assholes.
Yeah, I gotta hope they don't try to get me drunk on bourbon and make me wear shorts and shave my legs, which I see.
Post it all over social media.
Yeah, right?
That's kind of funny because Chad and I, we touched on this earlier, we text a lot and random stuff for sure. So, I was digging in the crates for some stuff, and one of the things, just back to sort of this business model, was about the way that Chad lives and breathes a business model. And he wrote me once, and he said, "Attaboy, stay hungry and don't let anybody tell you shit." And he said, and then he put in parentheses, "Believe it or not, that's my business plan." And that's...
See, I'm not kidding when I say this. That is the way I wish I could live my life. I'm not being, saying it for any other reason. My wife will vouch for me, close friends will vouch for me. I just sent we have a little special Facebook page for some of my friends back home that no one can see, and I posted something like that, and I won't say the word that's used, but it's living your life how you want to do it, regardless of what anybody says, thinks, does. And that brings me to the next point with Jeremy is he doesn't know this yet, and only one other person beside he's going to design my next tattoo.
Oh wow,
sweet!
Yeah.
Oh, he'll kill it.
Oh, I know he will because I saw his stuff. And what's your art? You're moved by mountains, right?
Moved by the mountains.
Okay,
yeah.
and that's Instagram. You have to check this stuff out. It's
sure.
Real. And I'm going to throw something out there, and if anybody comes back on me with this, I'm going to cut you off. So I have a Pinterest page, okay, and it's secretive, and it's a tattoo. It's a tattoo one. And I've cultivated this over a year or so. No one's seen it, but when I see your artwork and some of the stuff I like, it's so similar, but it's not the same. Does that make sense?
Sure.
And so when I see your stuff, like the last one you post, a trail runner with the mountains,
right?
I was like, oh, I'd buy the hat, the shirt, the hoodie, the socks, the onesie, the Speedo, the thong, if it fit.
What thong doesn't fit?
Yeah. Well, fit.
You try hard enough.
Good.
Sure.
Right. But
I appreciate that. That's cool.
So you got to check his stuff out, and you don't, like I said, you didn't know this, and now you do. The cat's out of the bag. But you're gonna design my next tattoo.
I'd be honored. That'd be great.
That's the way it is.
I've had the pleasure of doing that for a number of people, which is just really, really cool. And art is one of my many passions, but it's definitely something that comes easy and natural to me. And it's also humbling and nerve-wracking to start a store. It's also nerve-wracking to kind of put your art out there in the universe and let people, critique it and see it. And So if you're attracted to it, then that's
totally.
That's awesome.
Totally
man.
attracted to it for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
And my wife's artsy. Like she paints. She's like she's amazing at oil painting. And so I was showing her this on the drive over. And she's like, "Oh, I love that.
That's cool."
And she wants a tattoo. She's like, "Oh, he should design art." I'm like, "We matching tattoos? Hold on, let's rewind a little." No, we probably will eventually.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so check that out. And then real quick, because I don't have all of them, but what's your social media? I mean, it's Facebook, Instagram, because you have to check this stuff out.
Mostly MySpace and Yik Yak. And what's Yik Yak? Did I just make?
You just made one up.
I made that up.
Did you?
I think it's called Kayak, isn't that where you like buy like places where you can travel? Or
Yeah, I think it's
like
a
that?
travel site.
Yik
Kayak.
Yak is a new app we're developing.
Is it? That's right.
Sell
It's
and
taken.
use Jordans.
So anybody else?
Yeah,
off
exactly.
it, right?
No, I think it's Instagram for sure.
Instagram, we post a lot of
That's the main hub.
a lot of the the Instagram has a lot more personality than the others.
It's where you can live vicariously through these guys and go,
Yeah.
and then secretly go, man, I wish.
Which is really just us. Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
thinking-
it's like
you know,
there are a lot of people who have the password to that Instagram. So, if you would like the password to our Instagram, just send us an email and we'll send them. So many people have it that a lot of times things just pop up and we don't know where they come from, and so that's very
fun.
much a group effort too. And that has a lot more personality because I mean, we can sell you all the same shit that everybody else sells you that they post online. So we figure we almost never try to sell anything online, other than Facebook, which is a little more boring, and it's a little more professional. But our Instagram is very much just our personality, what we do, and I think that the link to one of our websites is on there.
There's two. I found the extra one that I didn't know about.
So we have like an adult version.
Yeah.
Which is our Facebook and the one that you can find there, and then we have our Instagram, which links to a completely different
That one
website.
is the one I want to talk about next.
Okay.
Because you've got a package on there, right?
Okay.
And I mean like a package as in not like a
not
package.
Jeremy and his
like
run
when,
tours?
like in the picture I'm going to post package, but I'm talking about it's the race experience or something,
Can
right?
you pull it up on there?
Yeah.
I could, but I'd probably delete our podcast.
Yeah, don't do
we've
that.
got
Yeah. This is too gold.
This is
We
going
don't wanna
to
lose
be a
this.
top hit.
Yeah.
Watch out, Luke Nilsson and Turtle Miller.
It's gonna break the internet.
Yeah.
But you have like a race experience. What's or crew and pace?
Yeah, the
or what's that
ultimate
one?
pacing crewing
That's the one,
experience,
yeah.
where it's on sale right now, Black Friday, back fast. Where for the low price of $500, which is basically free.
It
Yeah.
is. It really
It's
is.
free.
If you
Think about it.
It's
for
free.
Sure.
It's basically
Yeah.
free. It's only $500. You can have Colorado's most Okayest race team show up at your ultra, and we will crew you, pace you. We apply body glide. We pop blisters. We do it all. Ask Brittany Dick. I mean, she used our services at Leadville 100, and it changed her life.
And it's a guaranteed non-DNF.
Or
Right?
or a portion of your money
Some
back.
of it back. If there's any left, you'll get it back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
exactly. Yeah.
There's usually not.
Yeah, from the
Exactly.
30
By that time,
packs
we've
and
most
bourbon.
of them.
Yeah, and we'll
$10.
travel too. I mean, we may borrow Studio 78 sometime and load the crew up and send them out
If
to
we
a
could
race.
get that
and-
thing out of the shop, I would let you borrow it.
Yeah.
Oh man, we need one bad.
How many have we sold so far?
We've sold somewhere between 0 and about 50 of them.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's
So about
closer to
49.
0. It's closer to 0 at this point.
But it's what everybody needs.
But it's life changing. Not everyone is ready to change their life at this time. I mean,
Yeah.
it's got to be for the right person and somebody who's really ready to make a shift, in their lifestyle and just become a new person.
I need a GoFundMe
Sure.
account just for this.
I would encourage you to do that.
So we've got glitter cannons and
I don't know
cardboard.
if that's not signed, Jess. That's signed off on yet, glitter. But if there is anybody out there
We're-
that either manufactures glitter cannons or has one in their basement they're not needing anymore,
Sure.
these guys, it's a tax write-off.
Think about it. Think about if we crewed and paced you and you came across the finish line, and then you just got hammered with glitter from a glitter cannon. How sick would that be?
You know what'd be funny,
No one else
though,
is doing that.
Is knowing my luck, there'd be a T-shirt wadded up in there too, and it hit me right in the good spot, right when I crossed the finish. So I'd
Most
get
likely.
glitter and then
Yeah.
get a nut punch, as Joel would say. you
Yeah.
know?
Keep in mind that we've never fired said glitter cannon, so we can't attest to
But you guys are
A,
good
they
with
work.
pellet guns with scopes.
Hey.
So.
True.
We're just
So
you can't blame us for dreaming.
Yeah.
We're just
exactly.
dreaming here.
That's what a lot. I mean,
Just trying to create an
you
experience.
got love of the land, and there should something about dreaming on there as well.
Yeah.
True.
for sure, because
This
of
is
what
where
it is.
dreams come true.
Yeah, we've got a lot of
Yeah.
shit on that. A lot of stuff on that website right now that's half price too that we're trying to liquidate. Stuff that's kind of left over from the main busy season for us, and so you could buy. There's a couple of things on the half price. There's a life-size cutout of
There'll be a photo of that.
Ironbeard 1 right now
taking a
on
picture
sale,
of that.
and I marked it half price. It's $50.
That's not bad.
It's
either.
$50.
It's $50.
And there's going to be a photo of it because we're going to push the sale of that. But I brought my credit card, so
We'll
I'm
swipe
hoping I
it.
can shop.
We'll swipe
Because
it.
what we're gonna-
It folds, so it's. You can fit it in the bus, easy.
Oh, so I
We-
could leave it in the bus, and people will think
I
someone's
would-
always
We
in
took-
there.
We've
Yeah.
taken it to a lot of places. It's gone to a lot of races. It's been to
Been to
Run Rabbit Run. It's been
Steamboat,
up to the
twice.
Redneck Triathlon. It's really versatile.
And you're okay with that now? I mean, at first you were probably a little, Jeremy, you were probably a little bit like, but now you're like,
I couldn't.
yeah.
It's
Chad
one of the
texted
things I
me-
did without his permission. We just
Yeah.
we're just gonna do this, and we're gonna sit it in the corner of the shop and wait till he sees it.
Yeah.
And
He
then we
texted me and they lost the first one, which basically means that some guy
stole it. The
really
DHL
wanted-
guy. The
wanted it.
DHL guy.
The
Mark.
DHL guy has
Yeah,
it in
wanted
his,
it
in
really
his
bad.
well. It's in the well.
Yeah,
You know,
sure.
right?
It's in
Yeah,
the passenger
exactly.
seat.
Yeah, puts lotion on its skin or gets the hose again. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's the way that things are done around here. The first time I saw it was unbeknownst to me, posted on social media with me posted up with Tailwind and everybody else here in the shop. But basically, yeah, I mean, and this was at Leadville 2 years ago,
Yeah.
and I ran in that.
It's a flannel. Like a full-on, not the soft, like
Yeah.
thin. That's the full-on. I'm
Well,
gonna
it's-
cut some wood
yeah, it was-
flannel, right?
That's another one of our fashion statements.
Yeah, I mean it was at Winfield, so I wore that up over Hope Pass. The flag is actually attached to the back of my hat there. I got my Mountain Hobo
That's I was saying,
custom made
Mountain
hat
Hobo hat.
on. Yeah, so but yeah, I mean that's it. That's me. That's legit. And
That's epitomized who you
yeah,
are.
that's Petey Renko right there.
Thank you for listening to the TrailManners podcast and part one of a two-part episode with the Palmer Divide Run Company guys. We'd like to thank Chad and Jeremy for joining us. You can check more of Palmer Divide Run Company out at Instagram at PD Run Co. or over on their Facebook page at Palmer Divide Run Company. We also want to encourage everybody to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at TrailManners or swing by the website at trailmanners.com. You can contact us there. Let us know what you want to see, who you want to hear, or if you would like to be on our show. Until next time, this is Aric Manning reminding you, you don't get what you wish for, you get what you work for. Now go get it.